What is the difference between ability and attitude? Well, if you try to answer this in one sentence, ability is the capability which we have to do something. It could be innate or it could be acquired. And if we talk about attitude, it explains how well we do something. In these videos, this one and the earlier one, we are discussing about what is attitude and why attitude is so important in our life. This is the second part of this video. If you have missed the first part, it is strongly recommended that you do watch this video and then venture into this. And if you have already watched it, let's continue our journey. Have you seen a ghost? No. Yes. Well, does ghost exist? Yes. No. Well, my experience, I always wanted to see a ghost since my childhood days. My opportunity came when I was 16. That night, I was going to my bed, of course alone in a room. It was about 12 o'clock in the night. My eyes were closed and I was just about to go to sleep. Suddenly, I heard a sound. That sound appeared to be of a person who had entered in my adjacent room. I instantly woke up and looked towards the window which joined my room with the adjacent room. I saw a face which was peeping at me from the window. It suddenly vanished. I was confirmed there is a thief. I got up instantly and ran towards the window, but I couldn't see anyone there. So I came back to my bed and lay down, thinking that maybe I had done some mistake. And just when I was about to go to sleep, once again I heard that same sound. Instantly I looked towards the window. I saw that same face looking towards me vanishing. Now I was sure that any thief won't repeat the same mistake twice. I was now beginning to feel that my day has come. It must be a ghost. Slowly I went to the window, checked the room. I couldn't find anyone. I came back and lay down on my bed once again. This time I was unable to go to sleep because I was a little fearful. I was also expecting something more, but nothing happened. I lay there for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then as I was wide awake, I heard the same sound again. But this time, since I was awake, I could discern the difference between the sound which I thought it was to be and what it actually was. It was a windy night and strong breeze was blowing, and this sound was actually of the door shutter banging to the wall. I looked towards the window now, couldn't see any face. So now I told to myself, okay, let me now create that fear within me. I closed my eyes, tried to feel that I was going to sleep, and tried to imagine that I heard that same sound, and then instantly I created the feeling that a person is in the adjacent room. And you know what I saw? I once again saw that same face looking towards me, which instantly hid itself. Things were clearer to me now. I had a delusion of a mistaken sound. The sound did exist, and I believed that a person is in the next room. This mistaken perception created certain emotions inside me, and when I looked towards the window, with that emotion, I saw something which didn't exist at all, a face which hid itself. This was a hallucination. Delusion is the mistake of perception, and hallucination was completely wrong sightings which I had. So we see how our perception is altered by our attitude seated inside us. So this takes us to the next level of how attitude works. Attitude forms our belief systems. Attitude constitutes our emotions. It influences our thought processes, and together they form our belief systems. This belief system is a very, very important ingredient in our everyday life. It guides our future thoughts, our future emotions, and our future actions as well. A negative attitude would lead to insecure thoughts, which in turn would lead to formation of reactive belief system. Once our belief system is reactive, we will have our actions, which is consequent to that belief system, also reactive. What happens when we are fearful or afraid? The fight or flight mechanism of our body is activated. Our entire body is filled up with chemicals, and our blood are directed to run towards our limbs, our hands and legs, so that we get the necessary power to run away or to fight the situation. There is least amount of blood flow in our brains at that moment. So our thought processes are relatively impaired. What is the net result? We think less, we act more when we are afraid. Let's take the example of this young schoolboy. He is about to attend a new school for the first time, of course. For some reasons, this boy has grown up in a very negative environment. His parenting has not been good. For that reason, he is full of fear all the time. As he prepares to go to the school, one of his friends tells him, "My dear friend, listen to one of my advices. The boys in this school in which you are going are very dangerous. They are very violent and they would not spare you, I tell you." And the boy vanishes. He vanishes, but he leaves behind a very strong imprint in the mind of this young boy. Already laden with fear, this boy could not sleep that night. As he attends the school for the first time and sits in his classroom, all the boys around are talking with each other. This boy can't. He is extremely apprehensive. Anything can happen to him at any moment. And then suddenly, he realizes that all the boys around him are standing up. Out of sheer fear, he knows that his time has come. These boys are getting up to pounce on him. And he gives a loud scream. Unfortunately, the boys had stood up because the teacher had entered the classroom. See the scenario. What can happen when we are fearful? We are insecure, and our insecurity leads us to reactive belief systems. All the time we think of the worst, and this thinking leads us to artificial fears, which can further escalate to artificial violence, artificial anger, and so many other things. Another fallout of negativity is a negative mindset leads us to have a negative evaluation of any situation, person, or object, which in turn leads to a negative response from us. the converse is also true. So, a positive mindset will lead us to have a positive evaluation of any object, person, or situation in front of us, which in turn would lead to a positive response. Now, how does this make things different? This is very important because we are judging things, we are forming our opinions based on what we think to be true, and that is what is colored with our attitude. This is one of the reasons for which the same situation evokes different types of responses among different individuals. I might see a red car and be alarmed. The other guy might see a red car and say, "Wow, what a color." It all depends on what is inside us. This small study will illustrate how our judgment, how our evaluation changes with our attitude. A study was conducted about the pattern of behavior of a group of people in a hospital. This group of individuals were required to attend a hospital at a particular time and day for conducting certain tests. The reception desk of the hospital comprised of the regular hospital staffers and one person who was planted by the psychologists. This one person was asked to behave rudely with every person coming to the reception desk. That was his task. Now, all the people who had gathered there for the testing didn't know about this. As one by one these people started coming to the reception desk, this person started behaving rudely with them. In fact, the arguments really took nasty turns when some of those patients started hitting back. In any case, the other staffers intervened and managed the situation. All the patients were asked to wait in the waiting arena after the initial registration process was completed. As the patients were waiting in the arena, a call came in for the rude person and he was asked to leave the reception area. After the rude person left the reception area, some of the staffers of the reception desk, they came to the waiting arena and started apologizing for the misbehavior the patients had faced. The patients, already sullen by now, started venting out their frustrations. Some of them even threatened of dire consequences of complaint with the higher authority. As the staffers explained the scenario, they explained one small thing to the patients. They said that this rude person had a very unpleasant experience last night. Last night, his family had a huge accident and all of his family members were hospitalized. When he went to the hospital, he found the situation grim. So he called up the hospital authorities here that he won't be able to report to duty today. The hospital authorities, instead of appreciating his difficulties and granting him leave, on the contrary, threatened him with dire consequences if he doesn't report to the duty today. So visibly, as he attended duty today, he was not at his best. There was an entire change of environment immediately. After some time, the staffers went back to the reception desk. The rude person also made his way to the reception area. He took his seat and the patients were again called to the reception desk for some formalities. The rude person continued to behave rudely, but this time the reaction of every patient was entirely different. Most of them appeared to be very much understanding to the problems of the rude person, so they behaved very sweetly. Once the entire process was over, all the patients were given a feedback form, and all the feedbacks were positive, irrespective of the fact that they were all sullen at the initial stages. This shows that our evaluation of a person or a situation changes, and it changes with our perception, with our belief systems. This takes us to the third manifestation of attitude in our life. Attitude determines our natural tendency to act. Yes, it is not just at the level of perception or at the level of belief systems. Attitude also works decisively. It creates our natural tendency to act in a particular situation. Take for an example, the case of mob violence or lynching. Do you know how it happens? Yes, most of us know it. The thing is, the fear or the anger is created initially by a couple of persons or a group of persons who are extremely negative in their attitude. When they do it, the negative people around them grasp their emotions and their thoughts instantly, and they also form a very strong negative belief system. Once they evaluate the situation negatively, they start talking in the same negative terms to people all around. Their force of conviction is very strong because their belief system is very strong. When you have a strong belief system, you talk with a powerful force of conviction. And when you talk with a powerful force of conviction, people in front of you get influenced much more. So what happens when negative people talk with strong negative belief systems? They have a powerful persuasive power in the negative way. So all the people who are generally negative get influenced instantly to their words. And all the people who are in the neutral territory also get influenced to the negative talks, at least temporarily. It creates a huge mass of people. Only people with strong positivity, they understand and they keep themselves off. In this scenario, the majority of people are now negative and strongly influenced by the belief systems, and they work conjunctly in a direction, the direction of maybe hatred, of violence, of destruction, whatever, we don't know. It is our attitude, it is our belief system which makes us evaluate, to makes us judge a situation in a particular way. So we have seen how attitude works. In short, attitude is how we see things. It is the color of the glass which we wear. It also determines our natural tendency to act. Basically, attitude covers large parts of our life, but we are blissfully unaware of these things. So in this video, we learned what is attitude and how important attitude is in our life. In the next video, we will be learning how we will be using attitude to change our life for the better.